On Thursday, the Minnesota Supreme Court visited Thief River Falls and provided students from throughout the region an opportunity to hear oral arguments in a real case, and then they took time to answer their questions.
When you grow up in a small place, you learn very quickly that everybody works or nothing does. So there's this sense of connectedness and community that I think are really, and I'm not saying those values aren't instilled elsewhere, they certainly are. But when you grow up in a small place and literally you can get snowed in your neighbor's house when you're playing cards and you need your mom to come across the street and dig you out, you have an appreciation for community and the sense of togetherness and collegiality, and those values are very important in working in the court system, working as a lawyer, and working on the Supreme Court. So I think that growing up in a small community prepared me very well, and I know that I wouldn't be where I am if I hadn't been in Plum. Over here.
I kind of knew when I got to college. I originally wanted to be a veterinarian at one point. I was talking with my group about that. And then I kind of gravitated towards social work because I thought that was a way to make a difference in people's lives. I had a cousin who was attending law school at the time though, and I started having conversations with him. And I was fascinated by the legal issues that he was grappling with and what he was learning. And it quickly became clear to me that if I really wanted to make a difference in people's lives, it was through the law, because the law affects our everyday lives. And that's when I got the law bug, if you will, and decided to go to law school.
My name is Adam Berg, and I go to school here at Lincoln. And what are your hours during the day, and what does a typical day look like for you?
It's a little hard to say what a typical day looks like because sometimes we're in court. So the first 2 weeks of the month, we hear court cases. We hear the first week in the state capitol. And I don't know if any of you have been down to St. Paul since they renovated the state capitol, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And we have a wonderful courtroom there that's well worth seeing if you're ever taking a tour in that area. So we hear cases in the morning, those first 2 weeks, and then we immediately conference about the case. So if we were back in St. Paul and heard this case, right now we would be discussing it and voting on how we thought it should come out. So, and then in the afternoon, usually in those first 2 weeks, usually I'm reading cases, preparing for the next day or the next few days, talking to my law clerks. We are also writing opinions at that time and looking at our other courts, members of the court's opinions during that time. And then the next 2 weeks, we decide what cases we want to hear. So we get a whole list of, they're called petitions for review, where a party tells us what went wrong in the trial below, or the Court of Appeals, and we decide which ones are important enough, which ones are really going to affect a lot of Minnesotans. So then when we're deciding, we vote. And if 3 of us think that we should hear the case, then we hear it. So those are kind of the big structures of what we do. I spend a lot of time reading. I would say I work about 6 days a week, most weeks.
It was very interesting. They talked a lot about their jobs, the process on how long it took them to get to where they are now. Fun to hear about the different types of cases.
What do you think about the case?
I think the case is kind of scary. I've never been in a situation hearing an actual case like that, and it's very different from what you see on TV and such. It was a little bit, I was expecting to be like yelling and shouting. They were all very calm and considerate of each other. It was different.
It was very different, yes. I really like the fact that I could get like my feet wet into law and to see actually how the courtroom works, how what their job is, for having law being a part of a very one of my 4 choices for future careers. That was really great to have that firsthand experience with such a high court. That was so cool.
What was the experience like here today?
Dave, it was just a great opportunity for our students and students from the area to have the Minnesota Supreme Court justices here at Lincoln High School. It was so fun to watch an oral argument and see how they interact with the attorneys, the justices, and see how our kids react, and an opportunity for them to ask questions to the justices and find out what it's like to be a Minnesota Supreme Court justice.
It really seemed like the kids enjoyed it, and they were very quiet and respectful.
Well, we just have some great kids here at Lincoln High School and great kids in our community, and they were just really interested about how this works and the process that goes with the Minnesota Supreme Court, and we couldn't be more proud of how our students handled this today.